Drill instructors / drill sergeants of Reddit. What's the funniest thing you've seen a recruit do that you couldn't laugh at? Had one recruit paying attention to a bunch of geese rather than us. Made him get up and chase them all away. As they flew in the air, we made him follow them for several hundred feet to make sure they wouldn't come back. I was dying if laughter on the inside. Standing in formation at Fort Knox about to head to the range and everyone needs their gloves. One private comes out without them and the DS screams, "Private, where the fuck are your gloves?" In this thick Tennessee accent he goes, "Well, damn drill sergeant, I must have left them some bitches upstairs." The DS from New Jersey just dies laughing. At boot, it was taps out and one of the RDCs show up and was doing a walkthrough. It was just before lights out. He was going through the head and then a loud scream, "Oh my god, he's jerking off. Get your fucking dick out of your hand and out of my sight. Why the fuck is your dick staring at me, recruit?" Taps didn't happen as scheduled and I still talk to this guy X years later. Also my bunkmate Mayo. So when you start basic, your body doesn't know how to handle no sugar, caffeine, rigorous exercise, and sleeping schedules, so it's in shock. With this shock, shitting becomes a problem for a few. Well, every day after the first week is required to ask around if everyone has taken a shit, and from there he assigns one recruit to track who has shit and who has not. I shit you not, pun intended. We had one guy who would stand in the barracks at the end of the night rolling off names of people who hadn't shit yet. Finally, we have one guy who is still on there after 2 weeks and the D tells him to go to the doctor. The doctor gives him an get out of jail free card, essentially saying that at any point, he says the magical words "I gotta shit" and he can escape any situation. Well, recruit can't shit, we'll call him, gets the smart idea that he's going to play his new trump card as long as possible. Every time that we are getting grilled, "I gotta take a shit" comes ringing in from the back of the formation. This probably happened 6 times until RD caught on. Finally RD devises a plan that when recruit can't shit goes into the bathroom, he's going to have a couple of us hold onto his legs and slide him into the stall all Exorcist style. The time comes and recruit can't shit excuses himself. We all follow RD into the bathroom and slide him under there like he's the spawn of Satan. This catches recruit can't shit by surprise. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on, as that he is utterly berating him about lying and using this as an excuse to sit on the toilet. Then we hear a very audible "oh shit" from the stall. The D scared the recruit so much he actually took a shit right then and there. The D made every recruit look at it, and we played taps for it as we flushed it down the toilet. While in basic we had a female that loved to smile. She was just a happy person in general. Well, my training instructor came in and she caught the female trainee smiling. T didn't like smiling. She walked up to the female trainee and yelled, "Wipe that smile off your face." Female trainee stopped smiling. The T continued to yell, "No. Literally wipe the smile off your face with your hand." Trainee does so. "Now throw it on the ground." Trainee follows orders. "Now stomp on it and scream back, quote, die, smile, die, as loud as you can." The female trainee stood there for a second before following through. Her tiny little voice cracks as she yelled, "Die, smile, die." And I will say it took everything I had not to bust out laughing. An RDC in another division asked a guy if he shaved that morning and the guy claimed he had. The RDC said, "Recruit, you are either a werewolf or you are lying. So which is it?" The guy responded, "I must be a werewolf, petty officer." In Navy boot camp they call forced PT beatings. Everyone knows what a beating is. Navy doesn't have drill instructors, they call them RDCs, recruit division commanders. One day standing in ranks, the RDC is going around asking random trivia questions about a test we had to take to make sure we had been studying. He gets to a guy who was eccentric, to say the least. This is about a month and a half into boot camp. RDC asks the question, guys gets it wrong, so RDC yells, no wrong, beat yourself. Literally everyone knew this meant start doing push-ups, so the expectation is he will start doing push-ups as the RDC moves to the next guy to ask a question. I was standing across from the guy, and he had a confused look on his face. He looked at his own hand for 5 seconds, then hauled off and slapped himself in the face. It made a loud crack sound. He got himself good. I cracked and chuckled, trying to keep composure at attention. The RDC looked at me, then realized why I laughed. Had to do with the slapping sound. He turned back to self-slapping guy and asked him if he slapped himself. Guy says, you told me to beat myself. Cue the entire barracks cracking up. It was a single moment during boot camp where the curtain was raised, and a moment of unadulterated levity came over everyone. The RDC couldn't stop laughing, so the tough guy asshole persona melted away for a good 60 seconds, until he regained composure, and made us all do push-ups. The push-ups were an easy price to pay for that moment. I work at basic training ranges, and we had a drill sergeant yell at his soldier while they were getting ready to go down a buddy live fire exercise. The soldier froze and started crying. This 18Y/O kid was just in tears for getting yelled at. The DS yelled at him some more, and he finally gave up cause this kid wouldn't stop crying. So he made him scoop tears off his face and put them in his pockets till he filled his pockets up with tears. He did this for like an hour. It was hilarious. Clarify this for me. Are you telling me this young man cried for an hour straight? No, he cried for 5 minutes, but he had to keep wiping imaginary tears for a good hour. My favorite basic story, feet bending, 1988, was during a locker inspection. The most steely-eyed, straight-laced DS we had was going through our stuff looking for contraband. He is asking random questions at the same time, very professional and serious. Then he asks a guy a few lockers down for me if he has any naked pictures of his girlfriend. Recruit yells, no, drill sergeant. Drill sergeant looks him dead in the eye and asks, do you want to buy some? A bunch of us started cracking up and had to push. When I was in boot camp, our drill instructor had a recruit sit in front of his own reflection, stainless steel panel, and continually asked himself if he really wanted to be here for 3 fucking hours. All while screaming at him to mean it, and I don't believe you. I don't know how they didn't crack up. Was hilarious. There was a dumbass in my basic that, after firing, he had his rifle up on his shoulder pointing the wrong way, towards the DS, clearing it, with the mag still in. The DS, 6'8" bodybuilder, slammed the fucker into the sandbag screaming at him, and then the recruit had to lay prone in the dirt with holding a stick for a rifle, periodically saying bang for the next 3 or 4 hours. Somehow he still graduated with us. A story from my perspective as a recruit in Navy boot camp. We had an inspection the following day, so our chief was going around inspecting inside everyone's rack to make sure it was squared away. Eventually he made it over to my section. He was checking the rack, bunk bed that opens up beside me, and had it propped open, so I couldn't see his face and kind of forgot he was there. He's searching through this guy's stuff and sees his small gloves. And he asks, you know what they say about small gloves? Now keep in my mind, I don't think any of my RDCs heard me talk until this point, and I said without any hesitation, I know that's not true. I wear a size 12 boot, but I can tell you right now I don't have a size 12 cock. And my chief slammed the rack shut and looked at me. What the fuck? He then stormed off into the fishbowl and all you could hear was him trying to hold back his laughter in the office with the two petty officers.